Varghese.
Hey Liz, one of the key things that has been happening this week, this past couple of weeks was, the cross promotion between the UFC and Bellator, and obviously you fought Valentina Shevchenko, and the current champion for Bellator is McFarlane. How do you think personally they would match up, and then how do you think you would match up with the Bellator champ?
You know, I was the first person that welcomed Alima into the gym. I signed her up there. I was her kind of welcoming her, showing her the ropes, doing all of her intros. So I've been there since day one. So I'm well versed, and we have both said since the beginning that no matter what we compete in, whether it's jiu-jitsu, which we've been in jiu-jitsu tournaments with the potential to compete against each other, whatever happens to be, that we'll go out there and give everything we have because we know it's against two friends. That, yeah, we can punch each other in the face. We've been doing that since day one, hurting each other. And if that's how we built our friendship, this isn't going to be any different. And as far as matchups, I know our strengths and weaknesses. So I know it'll be a great opportunity for both of us, particularly me coming into this new platform. And as far as a cross promotion, I think that Alima, if she fought Valentina, she has this weird style that most people aren't ready for when it comes to unorthodox striking standing. And Valentina doesn't do really well with super unorthodox people. And then on the ground, Alima's substantial. I mean, all of her finishes predominantly come from her ground game. So anybody matched up that doesn't really finish people strongly on the ground is going to have a hard time against Alima.
All right. One of the key things is you're one of the veterans of the sport. You've been here, you fought the best of the best. Looking at the new chapter in your career in Bellator, what do you have to say? Like, what words do you have to give to your future opponents?
That I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to put on a show and show that this isn't like I'm closing one door and that's the end of my career. This is a new chapter. This is a new way for me to express myself, a new way for me to start fresh and to build a whole new style and to go out there and just finish girl after girl. And that's what I'm looking to do. So I'm looking to clean house in the division to work my way up to the title and take that title.
All right. Thank you, Liz. I'm looking forward to seeing that new chapter start off.
Thank you.
Hey, Kiani. One of the questions is going into this fight, your second fight with Bellator. Not a lot of people know about you. What are you trying to showcase in this fight, and how are you trying to put your name out there?
Just do my job and go out there, fight and win, and everybody will know because everybody knows his name. But when I win, everybody will know mine.
Going forward, like how far do you see yourself? Closing in possibly on a title picture. With the champion Patricia Pitbull going in. How do you think is the stacked is the lightweight division?
Oh, it's super stacked. I really think, regardless of the promotion, lightweight is probably the most dense as far as the level of fighters and level of competition. We're all pretty much normal, average sized human beings, and so you pretty much get the most deep talent in that lightweight class.
All right. So since you're saying that it's stacked, if you seem to be just floating around in the division, do you see yourself moving up, or do you see yourself moving down in the future, or just planning to stay in the lightweight division?
Yeah, for now, I'm probably just gonna stay here at lightweight. I always thought about going down to 45, but as of right now, no, we're just staying at 55 and just continue to win fights. And yeah, all I do is just focus on the next fight ahead. I don't really get too far off into the future or anything like that. I just kind of focus to what's at in front of me and live in the now.
How have you been handling the pandemic? How has it affected your training camp? The process, how has it been going?
It was pretty hard and pretty challenging. We had to be creative and try to figure out some new ways to get the work. Just there's a lot of obstacles, especially in Hawaii, because everything was shut down, and we've been in shutdown. Actually, we're in another lockdown again that the governor just extended it for 2 more weeks. So it's pretty hard, and I was happy that he gave that lockdown only the last week of my camp, so it wasn't too bad because we didn't experience a full lockdown when I had started up camp. And yeah, just recently they put it all back down on lockdown. So timing's everything. But hasn't been that much. Just had to go to a different gyms. I was cross training a lot on the west side with Yancy and those guys at West Oahu MMA. Um, we weren't able to go to Gracie Technics because it was closed. Rylan Lazar's in Max's gym, which I usually split time between there and Hawaii Elite, but weren't able to do that this time because of the COVID. So, but besides that, the guys that are fighting, we all kind of stay in the loop and we help each other out when we can. Hawaii's only small, so everybody was helping out. So it still worked out very well.
All right, Kiani. Listen, I'm wishing you good luck in your fight, and hope to see you do good
If
in
you
the
want to
future.
stay on the top.
Hey, Derek, Kevin here. One of the key questions, listening to your responses to the other media members, would you say that you're closing your chapter on the featherweight division?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if a deal was to be worked for, another bout at 145, but I mean, if they needed me at 145 against a game opponent, it was a good bout for me to take, then yeah, sure, I'll drop back down. But going forward, depending on how long I see myself competing, going forward, maybe 2, 3, 4 more years, I would like to compete at 155, but I can't say officially, like for sure, that I'm done with 145 because I'm always up for a fight, whether it's 145, 155. But we'll see. We'll see what happens in the future. But for now, my goal is to get back to 155 and go after that title.
There's been hints online that AJ McKee might be looking more forward to moving up to the lightweight division. If you can stack up a couple of wins, do you see yourself matching up against him in the future?
It's a possibility. I'm not going to say no to that fight for sure. AJ's he's a good guy, and if he wanted to come up to 55 and throw down there, shoot, I'd welcome it. I'd say send the contract, let's seal that deal, and let's get it going. But we'll see. We'll see what happens.
One last question from me is, listen, you lost the last four of your 5 fights. Going into this fight, are you looking to make a statement?
Absolutely. I'm looking to go in there and show the rest of the division, show the world that I've evolved, that my game has changed, that I'm still improving, and that, that this is my home. This is what I do. This is my life. This is my career, and that I'm not done yet.
All right. Thank you so much, and good luck. All right.
Thank you. You're welcome.
All right. Our last question will go to Rick Sanchez.
Hey, John, Kevin here. One of the key questions I wanted to ask you was, yes, you said, if he gives you the easy takedown, you're willing to take it. But since he is a Gracie and, he has the exceptional jiu-jitsu skills, will you look for the perfect opening, or are you just going to go in for the takedown?
Man, I've trained myself to the point where I react. I do things and I'm like, oh, wow, that was nice. That came easy. Oh, I did that pretty well. Like, you shouldn't have to be thinking about what you're doing too much in a fight. It should be at that point reactionary. You should have trained your body. You should have programmed the machine ahead of time. If you haven't programmed the machine ahead of time, you're gonna struggle.
All right, and another thing is, you said it's either the title fight or not, and the way the promotions are going, it's not easy getting the fights you want. Would you compare, MMA promotions to almost a sort of WWE, the way they treat
It is. The business model is pro wrestling. And I mean, you can say it's good or bad or whatever, but I think that it takes away from the athletes a little bit because it's not quite a sport in that sense. We don't get to challenge UFC fighters. We don't get to challenge, professional fighter league challengers or whatever. I feel like we should have some kind of unified system where we have, sanctioning bodies that control the title and the promoters cross promote. I think that would be better for all of the promoters. I think it would be better for the companies that would step up and become sanctioning bodies. That would create more businesses, more jobs. It would be better for the fighters because you'd have more opportunities to fight for big titles and you wouldn't get stuck with a bad promoter. They would have to actually work to retain you as an athlete. We would be true independent contractors rather than these pseudo employees.
one last question from me is, Rory McDonald gone to the PFL. You previously fought in the PFL. Would you want to go over and play spoiler for Rory McDonald and not have him win the $1 million?
I'm not a big fan of the tournament system at my age. I think it's great for up and comers who people don't know, because it's a great way to build notoriety. It's a great way to build momentum for you moving forward. But I'm not a big fan of it as a professional prize fighting strategy.
All right, with that, we'll wrap up with John and
Be in this
return
position
to-
I'm in.
Thank you. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Hey, Patchy. One of the big things, has been like the Black community being affected by the passing of Chadwick Boseman, the passing of Kobe Bryant. How have you been affected by that? And, how do you plan on, showing support?
Yeah, man, it's been a real sad time this year, 2020, man. It's depressing to see, man, because, I'm a big fan of Kobe. I was actually in California when it all I was watching the Cyborg fight that weekend. So when it all kind of happened, I seen like the area, was devastated. So, it was heartbreaking to see. And then same with Chad, it's just, I was going to try to come out with a Wakanda flag on Saturday night, but I couldn't get it delivered here in time to honor him and show some respect. But, it's affected definitely the Black community and myself, as well as a lot of people I know. So it's very sad. And I'm hoping to, give him a little Wakanda action on Saturday night when I win, just like I did after the Ricky Bandejas fight.
All right. So Juan Archuleta said that, hey, if he wins the title, that he will welcome Koji Horiguchi back into the cage to defend the belt. Are you also willing to defend the belt against the former champ?
Yeah, man, I'm willing to defend the belt against anyone that Bellator wants to put against me. Once I get this title on Saturday night, which I will, I'm going to be, the guy that has a target on his back. Everyone wants that gold. So there's a long list of guys and long list of contenders in this division that are very valiant for that title shot. And I think Sergio Pettis actually has the next shot. So if Sergio wants it, I would entertain that. But if Horiguchi wanted it, I would also entertain that because, he did vacate the belt. And, I can respect the move he made because, there hasn't been a champion here since he's vacated it last year. And now we're getting the opportunity to fight for it. So either one of those two fights first, and then there's a long list of contenders, that are really chomping at the bit to get up here. So I want to put those guys down too.
All right. Thanks, Patchy. Looking forward to seeing you fight.
Anytime, man. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Hey, Juan, coming into this fight, the last time you fought in the bantamweight division was almost a year ago. When Bellator officially came back, they came back with Bandejas versus Pettis. Bandejas, who you beat. Pettis winning the fight, he's lurking in the corner. Everyone thought, he might be next for the title picture. Do you have any words or are you looking out for Sergio Pettis? Do you know he's next if you win the title?
Well, I think Scott Coker said if Horiguchi is ready to go, he's going to obviously have the first rights to a title fight, which is respectable and honorable for whoever wins the title to take, because he relinquished it. He didn't hold up the division. So if Horiguchi's ready, he stakes claim to the first and foremost title fight. But if he's not, Sergio Pettis was originally who I wanted to fight for this. I thought was going to be a bigger draw for this fight, for this championship. But, I'm not a promoter. I'm not a matchmaker. And so obviously they went with Patchy Mix and myself, because it could have been Patchy Mix and Sergio Pettis as well. And me left to fight Bandejas again or someone else, because they've been signing a lot of the 135ers. So, I do see him as the next title fight contention if Horiguchi is not ready.
Another question is, going into this fight, are you looking into stopping Patchy Mix's ground game and keep the fight standing, or do you welcome him to the ground?
At this time right now, I'm a true rounded MMA fighter, and I'll go wherever this fight takes me, whether it be on the ground, whether it be standing. That's the difference about me as a fighter. I'm well rounded. I'm able to, as you can see when I fought Pitbull, I'm able to stand and bang and trade. I'm able to, as you've seen me fight Corrales, outpoint someone, or when I fought. Who was the guy? William Joplin, take it to the ground and do ground and pound. Like, I'm a well-rounded MMA fighter. I'm not scared of any of my talents that I have, and I'm 100% ready for wherever this fight goes.
All right, our last question goes to Rick Sanchez. Your line is live.
So,
Thanks, Leo.
hey, Leoto, you said, you're willing to dip back and forth between the 185 and 205 pound division. You said time, you don't have a time limit. So do you have in your mind a double champ aspirations, or do you just want to stick to chasing the title in one division?
I want to fight for the belt first. It doesn't matter if it's 185 or 205. If I have a chance to fight for the 185 and 205, that will be great. That will be a dream for me. And I just want to go there and show all my skills to my fans and get this belt in the future. And if I have a chance in 185 as well.
Word on the street is Anderson Silva is going to be coming to fight his last fight soon. You and Anderson almost, are brothers in a way. Growing up together, watching him become a champ and dominating the sport, you going and becoming champ, and almost having a similar career path. How has it been? Do you have any words of, what do you think of his career, and how do you feel?
So Anderson Silva has a great career, man. He had a spectacular career, so he's gonna go to his last fight, and I think everybody should respect all his legacy, because what he has done for the sport, like just few people did that, and he deserves all the best. Anderson Silva is a legend, man. He's a legend. Nobody stayed too long as a champion as Anderson Silva and fought the way that he fought, man. So he deserves all the best, and I feel like so you there will be a time that you gotta stop, right? So I just didn't put that in my mind yet, but we never know. I always face every fight as my last fight, because you never know in the future, man. So even a young guy, they never know. I learned that, and I try to practice that. So every time when I fight, I put that can be my last fight, always, because we don't know the future. We don't know anything about it. We don't have this control. So once you don't have this control, I just have to give my best.
Hey, Leoto, being at 42 years old and going through the fight.
Neiman, one of the big questions was, in that fight against Rory McDonald, you said, you were trying your best in the bottom, trying to finish with submissions. Was it mentally? Did it mentally hurt when you lost that fight? Like, did you take? Was it a setback, or did you just move forward from that?
It was a little setback, not because I lost the fight only, but because it was a title fight. So I really wanted that title, and I wanted to have the title at home in Madison Square Garden, New York. And that hurt because I didn't get the belt, So if I lose any other fight, it wouldn't be as bad as losing a title fight. So yes, but I got over it pretty quick thanks to my jiu-jitsu days. I competed a lot, I lost a lot, and I win a lot. So I know how to win and how to lose, and I learned a lot from that fight.
How has the 1 year layoff affected you? Has it been a positive effect, or has it been a little bit of a slow climb back?
I think it was a positive effect. I was ready to fight in December. I was in great shape, but I got injured, and I couldn't come back earlier. It was positive because I kept training this whole time. Even when I had the cast on my hand, I kept training with one hand and kicks, So I never stopped training. I love training, and I kept training and evolving and getting better.
One last thing is, if if Douglas Lima goes up to fight Gegard Mousasi for the middleweight championship, do you possibly see yourself? I know Bellator hasn't done it, but fighting for an interim belt in the future.
Yes, I don't want an interim belt, so if Bellator puts up an interim belt, I'll do it. But it's not what I want, so but it is what it is.
I'm always trying to get the finish, but next time I can guarantee that I get a finish in there.
All right, last question from Kevin Varghese.
Hey, Keith Lee, congrats on the win again. During your fight, did you see at any points that he was overextended?
All right, last question from Kevin Varghese.
Hey, Keith Lee, congrats on the win again. During your fight, did you see at any points that he was overextending? You were seeing your combos a little better, or were you being patient in the box and patient with your...
All right, last question from Kevin Varghese.
Hey, Keith Lee, congrats on the win again. During your fight, did you see at any points that he was overextending? You were seeing your combos a little better, or were you being patient in the box and patient with your punches and your kicks?
I was seeing it from the first punch he threw. He was really strong and really big, so he was much slower than I was. So I definitely saw all the punches he was throwing. I knew he was going to come out trying to chop my legs. I saw everything he was throwing from a mile away. So I just tried to capitalize on it and really try to line that right hand up. And every time he would duck, I went to go throw that flying knee. He just was a lot tougher than I thought he was. Like I said, I saw his eyes rolling back of his head. I thought it was over, but he was there. He was game.
Do you have another opponent in mind? Do you have somebody you want to call out, or are you willing to accept anybody Scott Coker and the Bellator team presents in front of you?
I'm willing to accept anybody they bring forward. I think Mike Kimball was a good fight. I think it's a lot of guys in this division. This division is stacked. I can't wait to see Juan Archuleta and Patchy Mix fight for the title tomorrow. I'll be sitting front row. And yeah, it's a lot of fights in this division that I think are really good. Like I said, Mike Kimball's a good one. Scott, what's his name? Scott Bale, or the green-head kid from Hawaii. I can't think of his name. He just fought Rafael Stouts. Cass Bale. I think Cass Bale is a good fight. I think it's a lot of good fights in the 35 division. So whoever Scott want me to fight, I'm there to sign the dotted line.
Kevin.
Hey Tyrell, unfortunately, an unfortunate end to the your fight right now. Tim Johnson was just announced to be fighting Chuck Congo for in the first event in Paris. Are you going to be looking closely at that fight and how it turns out, and will you be looking at Tim Johnson or Chuck Congo as a future opponent?
I don't think Tim wants to fight me again. So no. I'm not, unless they tell me Tim is my next opponent. I have no reason to care what he does.
I gotcha. Listen, with the result coming in, would you call for a rematch against Jack May so you can finish the score, or do you look for somebody else?
100%. I mean, if he wants a rematch, I'm definitely taking it, but I'm down to fight anybody.
All right, Taros. Unfortunate results. I hope to see you soon. All right.
Yes, sir.
That's the goal.
Hey, Alex, Kevin here. Two questions for you quickly is, after the end of the fight, we could hear you talking to your corner like, hey, my boxing needs a little work. When during the fight did you did you find your stand up, the boxing being a little uncomfortable?
You could probably go back and there's a point where he punches me and it knocks my head back. And that's probably when I thought I needed to work on my boxing.
Gotcha. Listen, you said you don't know much about the light heavyweight fighters. Going into beating a former champ, are you going to start doing more research to pave your career path into Bellator for a championship, possibly?
The possibility of a championship, of course, is awesome and on the back of every fighter's mind. As far as doing more research, as I've been fighting for a short amount of time, but compared to my wrestling, which has been going on a lot longer, I've done that in the past. I've tried to be a good student of the sport and do my homework and watch, but really it ends up kind of hindering me more than helping me. I have an excellent team of coaches at Chosen Few, Damian DeCorder, Kane Rizzo, Joshua Sterry, and I really depend on those guys to watch film for me, check out what those opponents are doing, and then be able to regurgitate that knowledge in a way that is Alex-centric. so that I'm not worried about what the opponent's going to do. I'm not worried about, this special kick that they have coming. I'm worried about the areas that I need to improve that the coaches see will chink away at the opponent's armor.
All right, congrats on the win, and I love the Patrick Star.
I was hoping somebody would notice.
Sorry, I cut you off there. All right. Thank you very much, Alex. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Hey, Raymond, Kevin here. Unfortunate results. Let me ask you one thing. Were you trying to carry the momentum of your, 2 wins, the real deal highlights, the 720 finish? Were you trying to capture that again in this fight, trying to capture the highlight reel finish?
I'm always trying to capture that highlight reel finish. That's part of me, part of who I am. God has blessed me with a skill set and an ability to go out and to glorify his name. And I feel that, it's my kind of give back to him to try and use those skill sets to the best of my ability. So when I throw those techniques, I have that ability. Not anybody else in MMA really does anything kind of remotely like that. I'm always trying to capture that moment, trying to give the crowd and the fans something that they've kind of never seen before, something that'll energize everyone, even though we don't have a crowd. It was a little different not having that crowd because I'm used to the oohs and the ohs whenever I'm throwing things. But I'm always trying to recapture that lightning in the bottle, so to speak.
All right. Thank you very much, Raymond.
All right. Thank
Kevin
you, guys.
here. Congrats on a shocking victory, none to say the less. Shocking in the sense it ended quickly. During that sequence, within the 59 seconds, do you think Ed was being a tad bit over aggressive, or did you just catch him perfectly at the right time?
He came out aggressive, which I would expect him to, but honestly, if you get in danger with leg locks, like first couple minutes in, you're dry, you're not getting away. So you should really, especially, I guess he doesn't know that that's one of my attacks, but if you get caught up in that position, your ultimate goal shouldn't be trying to hit me. You should be trying to get the heck out of there. And I think Ed just kind of stayed in there and kept throwing, thinking he might be able to escape or get in a good position, but didn't fare well.
Also, did you make any key differences between that contender fight and coming into this fight? Was there any key changes?
Composure. Being relaxed and staying composed and realizing I have 15 minutes to knock someone out. I don't need to do it in a minute and a half.
Kevin Connor.
Hey, Kat, congrats on the win once again. One of the key points was you dominated most of the fight, but the key point in the fight was when you started facing a little adversity was when she mounted you. Walk us through that sequence of when she mounted you and when you were biding your time to flip the reversal into half guard.
I have actually gotten my wrist slapped in practice for landing in those positions because I get very greedy sometimes with my takedowns, and I know I'm going to hear it. My coach, Justin Flores, couldn't be here tonight because he has a new baby on the way, and it made more sense for him to be home, and that something I totally understand. But one thing that, I get in trouble for, and one thing that we've worked on is that I do get a little bit greedy with trying some of these throws and things off the cage especially, and it seems as though, I don't remember exactly, it seems as though I pulled Mount, and she took advantage. She got another wind on top because, what's better than Mount and elbows and punches and being heavy in the hips? And I could hear her coaches, they were coaching her right, telling her to settle her hips and say hi. And, I did feel how much energy she was putting into those punches. And it was kind of one of those things where it was like, I'm going to save up everything. I'm going to wait and grab that arm and go for it. And hopefully at the moment, it's going to be enough to topple her over, those upas are something that I'm pretty good at. So I was happy it worked.
Right.
Thank you.
Kevin.
Hey, Phil. Congrats on the victory again. I don't know if you've been keeping track, but one of the key things that I've noticed is in your amateur and professional career so far, you have not been finished. What do you atone to, keeping that record and keeping your chin strong and, just focusing on, completing the full fight?
I have not been keeping record of that, actually. Thank you. Honestly, I try to always have good head movement and, be in control of the exchanges. It's as simple as that, I don't mind trading, but you want to be in good position when it happens. Otherwise, you end up taking more damage than you need to. I feel like once or twice in my fight career, I got cut, and cuts look bad to judges. So that can cost you. So I just want to be smart in going into my exchanges and pick high percentage shots. Don't give up my chin. That's another good one.